gap scheme, getting into what we're talking about. Love this. This is one of my favorite schemes of all time. I know a lot of people, they like zone, like duo, but gap scheme is huge for me. I love it. So let's get into it. So drill work. So it all starts with this drill work. And I got some really good things that I've done this spring and in my career of coaching that gets my guys ready to go into gap scheme. Okay. So the first one, so the combo block with the tackle and the guard, the play side. My tackle, it's called the Gallop technique. And we really, if there's a 3 technique, we really hone in on him knocking over the 3 technique to the guard and working up to the linebacker. So I really focus on the Gallop technique with him, but also my guards too, depending on what the technique is that's aligned in front of them. But here's some drill work. And it's always a progression for me. So you can see that we're in just helmets. So this is the first thing that we're working is the Gallop technique against the Crowther sled. So you get 2 guys, they're working the Crowther, they're working their Gallop technique. And the way we work the Gallop and we do the Gallop, you can see stepping towards the defender and really getting into the Gallop or the skip into it. And the landmark that I'm telling my guy that's knocking the defender over is to get on his hip. So I want to try to stay square as long as I can, hit him on the hip, have my guard pull the sink and take him with him and then work up. And the reason why I want him to skip and stay square is so he can come off into the second level square and work vertical and not be turned. Okay. And working on the Crowther is awesome. Seeing them really get movement on that Crowther. And if you do it right, you're going to get vertical movement on the Crowther if you're working together. If not, I've seen it so many times where one's spinning or guys are coming off hitting each other. But if you do it correctly, this is how it should look. Okay. The next progression is now working in a pod. So you can see that we're in helmet, shoulder pads and shorts and shells. So now we have a defender. You can see my tackle 65 now working the Gallop technique through the 3 technique up to the linebacker. And you can see my guard, I call it pull the sink. So he's getting, this is a specific hand placement. So he's going to have him on his shoulder. And then the play side hand is going to be now on his chest. So once he gets the tackle knocks him over, he's going to pull the sink and try to turn his shoulders and take him where he wants him to go to open up that hole. Okay. And this is awesome. This is a great drill. Just the next progression of what we're doing and knocking that over. And you can see my 65, he's 6'6", 330, and he's trying to get low and try to knock that guy over on the hip. Okay. Just another look at it with another guy trying to stay low. You can see he's really galloping through, staying square, trying to get on that hip, working up to the linebacker. And the landmark for the linebacker, I'm telling my guys, is to work vertical to where the linebacker is going to be. Okay. You never want to go to where the linebacker is now. So if there's a 2 linebacker box, you're going to work to the backside linebacker, and you want to go vertical towards the play side linebacker that's closest to you so you can hit that landmark. And if there's only 1 linebacker in the box, that's who we're working to, because that's the backside. So this, you can see there's only 1 linebacker. I'm telling my guys that they really need to work vertical up, knocking that guy over to the landmark that we need. Okay. Now working the other side, knocking that thing over. You can see the guard pulling the sink, bang, working up to the linebacker. All right, now the next progression, you can see we're in full pads. So now we're working the pod, and you can see I really want my tackle to knock it over nice and hard. So we got the med ball right there on the hip. And you can see I also have my guys, we've had problems getting our hands out and not getting them nice and tight when we strike. So I put rubber bands on the wrist to keep them nice and tight. So that's why they look kind of weird. But
is that a new thing for you, or how long you been doing that?
I've been doing this for quite a bit. It just depends on my guys. So This year, a lot of them were striking with their hands out and all that. So I was like, you know what? So I got these little bands that we use in the weight room, and I handcuff them. And we do a lot of our drills that we can do with the bands on the wrist. Anything we have to strike, anything we have to do to help them, and it's worked. Like, I mean, the last couple of weeks, my guys, they think they're on there, and they just strike nice and tight.
Sure. What size are they? Like those thin ones, or like what
Yeah,
size?
so they're about an inch wide, but they're only like 6 inches long. Like so they use them in the weight room, like around their ankles. Anything they have to do like that's a tight space. That's what the rubber bands they use.
Gotcha.
You can get different ones. I didn't like the really thin ones because I felt like they're going to break, but these are kind of in the middle.
Yeah, that's why I didn't know if they were those or like a legit, like a band you'd stretch with. Obviously, a thinner type one.
Yes, it's one of those bands, but it's not as long. It's about, I would say, about a 6 inch wide.
Okay.
Circle rubber band, but I love it. It's awesome, and you can see my guys really focusing on their strike right there on the med ball when it gets to the next level.
Sure.
I love it. But this is just the next progression of working this gallop technique through with the guard and tackle. And then you can see on the other side, I mean, I always like to do multiple things when drill work. So you have my centers on the other side working their down blocks, their back blocks. The other guards working their down blocks, back blocks. So I like to do multiple things, making sure that everybody's getting involved and doing specific things, right? All right, so same thing. So other side. The only thing I don't like about 65, you see his narrow base. I want to keep it wider, so he doesn't. You can see he kind of stumbles, but the same thing. You want to be nice and low, stay square, really knock that thing over. You can see my guard pulling the sink, open that hole up, working up to the next level. Love it. All right, so now the next progression. So like I said, you have a 3 technique, right? So now, okay, what if I have a 2-eye? Or what if I have a shade to my side? So my tackles are going to still work the same technique just in case he slants. So nothing should look different for my tackle. He should still be working his gallop technique, staying square, just in case that guy slants and he can knock it over and then work up. So this is the next progression of, okay, hey, yeah, you don't have a 3 technique. You have a 2-eye or a shade, but I'm still going to work that technique just in case up to the next level. And I don't really want them to like bend and touch. Like a lot of people want to grab in the veer, they want to grab the towel, get skinny and all that. But if you're doing it right, you don't really have to do that. You just got to go through your progression. But I'm just making sure I'm standing there, putting my hands out, making sure that he knows that I'm there so he can feel that presence. But this would be the next progression in our gallop technique, is making sure, hey, you ain't got a 3 technique, but you still got to go through square, working up to the next level, vertical. So same thing here on the other side, working that gallop, working vertical. And then my guard now, he's thinking he's solo block by himself. So he's going to work that upfield shoulder, same shoulder, and really down block that and make sure that he doesn't cross his face. Okay. So it's the same thing as pulling the sink, but at the end, because there's nobody, there wasn't a 3 technique. So the same thing, working through. Like I said, I want him to really know I'm there, have that presence, but I don't want him to really turn too much, but keep a base, work up to the next level. Just to have that presence and know that I'm there. But we don't want to touch him because we got somebody covered.